Rosenbloom.
My name is Sam Rosenbloom. I was raised in Maryland. I went to the University of Maryland. I have a bachelor's degree in biophysics and a master's degree in nuclear engineering. I believe I'm the oldest person here, but I do believe that I'm the youngest candidate with the least political experience, which I think authoritatively makes me more likely to be straightforward and honest. I didn't enter this race because I thought I knew all the answers to such a diverse issue as special education. But I hope that I'll give my answers, and I hope that you will see that it will be honest, brief, and from my heart.
Thank you. And finally, candidate Wilson.
How's everybody doing today? My name is Shaq.
Candidate Rosenbloom.
I agree with almost everything Dean said, but in general, people shouldn't report their own data. A scientist that does research, you shouldn't trust that he agrees with the people that funded the research. Okay? The reality is that in 2 years, 4 years, we are still going to be talking about this issue. There are certain aspects of special education which can be implemented uniformly. As far as safety goes, for example, we should have full video coverage in every classroom. But it's such a diverse issue. We're not talking about a curriculum. We're talking about children from almost toddler age to 21 years of age. There's such a difference in age and difference in demographics and difference in disabilities. Some kids are verbal, and some kids aren't. And I have had the opportunity to talk to people, and literally, I think anyone who has a simple answer to solving these issues, it needs to be done on a case-by-case basis, looking at each individual school and different groups of children, and there is I don't think there really is any universal answer.
Thank you. Candidate Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to directly answer your question, but I've been thinking about it a lot, thinking about the relationship between the teachers and the assistants and the whole thing. And it's interesting that in the blueprint they talked about having a certain amount of time for planning and a certain amount for teaching. And I don't think it necessarily directly relates to special education. And I think in certain very small classes, when the teachers are under a lot of stress, that it's I think of these teachers as kind of like the cashier at the store, like every hour and a half. Like you might need the assistant might need just to give the teacher a break, so to ease the stress on the teacher. I think that in general, obviously, almost everyone I've talked to, and I have had a few conversations, the most common theme is we need smaller classes and more teachers, and I hope I at least partially answered your question.
Thank you. Candidate Rose.
I'm going to go directly to the question.
Thank you. Candidate Rosenbloom.
Okay. Is your question just for special ed children or for all children?
So inclusivity would be including students in special education with IEPs and with their general education years. So how can we, in what ways would you change activities to be more inclusive of students in special education?
I'll give you an answer which touches on the entire population of students. Okay. The reason why I'm running is because I want children to be exposed to industry, to go on field trips, to see different industries, see how things are made. And I'd like children to understand that they could be employees, but they could also be employers. What is the mathematics of business and so forth? Now, the education system in Frederick County is the largest employer. It's the largest procurer of goods and services. But I recently reviewed the procurement regulations. It shows no preference whatsoever for Frederick-based businesses, right? And there are some businesses that are very successful that only employ handicapped people. I have friends that have worked in vocational, rehabilitation and so forth, all their lives for decades. But it doesn't seem like the system is working for them.
Candidate Wilson.
Yes, this is near and dear to my heart. I'm a coach, so this is what I love, and I think.
Did you hear Mr. Grant's question? Sorry.
Hey, yeah.
No,
Okay. First of all, I think there's a disconnect on camera coverage. Cameras doesn't mean that people are monitoring these cameras. The cameras could be recorded from like a 60-day, cycle. And teachers would know if there was an allegation against them, they could go back, as much as 60 days and then review. And then after 60 days, the information could be, just automatically deleted. There's not going to be confidence, and there's not going to be trust in the teachers that have children. They're like nonverbal, I could be able to communicate with them, what happened in school, your child comes home with bruises or something of this nature until there's full coverage. Thankfully, I'm not sitting on the board, I don't have these conflicts, and it just should be implemented. To me, it's just a no-brainer.
Thank you. Wilson?
So,
Rosenbloom?
When you say proactive, to me that means attacking issues where you can actually accomplish something. And I guarantee you that when it comes to compensation, training, class size, these are obvious questions and kind of easy answers. And in my discussions with people, I was out campaigning with my treasurer today, and we ran into a lady who was a special education teacher and her daughter. She told me that there was a school in Lewistown where the police are called every day. She has 2 nonverbal children that she teaches, and she sometimes these children just take off running. She's afraid of losing one. She's a middle-aged woman. She's not going to be able to keep up with these children. There's a lot of stress on the teachers, in addition to everything else. I mean, I understand that being a special education teacher, they're a good teacher like that will never be compensated what they're worth because they're worth their weight in gold, right? And so there's a special place in heaven, but I think that we need to focus on things that can really be accomplished. And the video coverage will also go a long way because things are different when they know they're being observed.
Thank you. So I'm keeping my eye on the clock, and I'm not sure we would have Rosenbloom.
I have adult children and I have grandchildren. And I guarantee you that if you have a child with a serious cognitive issue, a handicap issue, a behavioral issue, that you're going to want to know that when this child grows up and becomes an adult, that they are going to have a path, a productive path in life, and they're going to be independent. That's what you're going to want. The fact that the school system is the largest procurer of goods and services and doesn't show any preference at all in their procurement system for Frederick-based businesses that would hire handicapped students shows you that just the system is not looking at people in a holistic way. It doesn't just end when they're 21, okay? And if I were elected, I would hit the street. I'm not a traditional politician, and I would make sure that different branches of government, I'd make sure that the procurement people, which has generally nothing to do with the school board, that everyone is on board with people that need help. It doesn't end when they're 21. It doesn't end. My oldest job is 38, and believe me, it's still not over. I see her as a little toddler.
Thank you. Candidate Wilson?
So I'm running for this position because I'm on the board. I stand up for students, especially when it's hard, especially when it's uncomfortable. For nearly 2 decades,